Good morning. Welcome to our last quarterly meeting of 2025, which seems absolutely, I like mind blowing. How are we literally at the end of November of 2025? Um, it just seems like life just continues to go so fast, right? Today we are going to have a little bit of a shortened agenda. And we do not have a speaker. We're going to go through our committee, our partner updates, find out what everybody is up to, kind of wrap up 2025, right? Our last quarterly meeting, we did our annual report. And this quarterly meeting will kind of wrap up all the rest of the things that are happening in 2025 and then really kind of give you all a kickstart of what's going on in 2026 for the consortium and for all of you, right? I know that a lot of you have events coming up and that you also are kind of wrapping up that 2025 and getting ready for next year and what that looks like. We'll do just a quick board update, announcements from us, which is really going through kind of highlighting everything that's going on in the summit. Our summit is less than 2 weeks away. It is not next week. That is our Thanksgiving week, but the following week and the week after that, and then doing a network share out. So just to prepare all of you, if you do have things to share, please have them ready, and we will open up that space for you all at the end before we move forward. And we are just going to jump right into our committee and partner updates. Our first one is the Creating Trauma Sensitive Schools. So Jennifer is not able to be here today because she is out in the field working. However, she has a survey that she would like all of you to take just to help kind of inform the next steps for the Trauma Sensitive Schools work group. If we could all just take like a minute or two to fill that out right now in this space. If that hyperlink does not work, here is the actual link if you need to copy and paste it. It's just a really short survey. So I'm just going to give you all about a minute or two. There's literally 4 multiple choice questions with one open text, just so she can get some feedback from us. Okay. Um, Thank you for taking the time to do that. If you haven't yet, that's fine. If you have it open, it is literally just 4 multiple choice questions and then an open answer. I don't think Cassandra has made it in yet, so I am going to move to Sabrina next to give a communications work group update. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Um, I have my back door open, so I didn't put it in the chat. But what I love to do when it rains is keep any windows and doors open. So if you see some shadowy stuff, that's just my back door. Um, but some updates that I have, we have been working hard with our newsletter, getting it updated. We did put out a survey a while ago, and so we have those changes in the upcoming newsletter that will be the next one. Our newsletter is bi-monthly, so it comes out every other month. We are looking at possibly doing it monthly, but we're not sure because we have just a small group of committee members. So I'm doing the plug now. If you are interested in becoming a committee member for us, we do work on the newsletter and some other things, but reach out to me. I'm going to put my information in the chat. But we would love to have you on board just so that we can do a little bit more. We are working on our goals for this coming year right now and the roles and responsibilities. But one other wonderful change I wanted to let you know that on the newsletter that's going to be coming up, you're going to see something called the mission movement section. And we want to know about your missions. We want to know about what you're doing. And so if you want something to be added in there, please reach out to me so that I can add that into the newsletter. It is actively like a couple of months in advance. So, for example, if you know something that's going on in 3 months from now, reach out to me so that I can put it in there. If you want to highlight your agency or you want to just highlight something that's going on around ACEs, around mental health, around wellness, please reach out to me so that we can get those in there. That's really what we're trying to fill our newsletter with. And then some other things that we have on our newsletters is something called the small joy section. So if you just want to highlight something, put that out there into the atmosphere. We would love to hear from you. And then another area that we're going to be doing is just adding some more resources. So again, if you have any resources that you want to share, put out there, I usually come to these meetings every quarter so that I can obtain that. And I do put that information in the newsletter. What happens sometimes though is those resources are for next week and the newsletter has already been done and I don't have it, right? So if you know about something way in advance, I would love just to be able to put it in the newsletter just to get it out there. And that's all I got. Just wonderful stuff for the upcoming year. But I will put my information in the chat, and if anybody has any questions, I'm always here.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Of
Thank
course.
you. Sandy?
Morning, everyone. I'm Sandy Semino, Chair of the Trainer Support Work Group. And I first want to say to any certified trainers that responded to our trainer support survey this year, thank you. We got a lot of really great information about what supports are working for you and the things that you would like to see. The work group met yesterday and we reviewed that. It was a small group, so I'm sending out the preliminary report to the rest of our work group to provide some feedback. But in the preliminary results, what you all told us is the communities of practice and the trainer site are the most valuable resources, most utilized resources for you all. So that was good information to know. If you haven't logged into the ACEs website in a while, please do, because Angie and the web development group, whoever it was, put a lot of work into updating it. And it is much more user-friendly now, particularly for our trainers. So you can find everything in one spot. You don't have to scroll and click and try to find where you're going. So, and then what came through on the survey is one of the things that you all think would be most valuable to add to trainer support is some on-demand trainer professional development. So that was rated very high. So we're probably going to look into implementing something next year to be able to access some resources or professional development on demand. And then finally, we have our fourth quarter, our last trainer community of practice. I'm trying to multitask, but I probably haven't had enough coffee this morning yet to do that. The registration link is there. December 4th, excuse me, Thursday, December 4th from 9 to 11. And our group talked about just focusing on trainer resilience, on resilience and wellness as we move into the holiday season and all the craziness. So I will be sending out an email to all trainers later today. So if you register now, please just ignore that email when it comes in later today. And that's it.
Thank you, Sandy. Cassandra hasn't been able to make it this morning, which I completely understand. I am just going to copy and paste in the chat her last email out to the group so you can see what they are working on. But the Cassandra Stouter is our new chair for the Rural and Indigenous Work Group. They have been working on, hold on, they have met twice now, just really to kind of set foundation of the group, right, of where they're going. I'm trying to make this that it actually all fits in here. I'm gonna just stop multitasking for a second.
Feel like as I've gotten older, it's so difficult for my brain to just think about two things at once. I don't know.
I know.
It's just so hard. I don't know.
I used to be really, really good at multitasking and not so much anymore.
Don't you all know that it's not appropriate to multitask? We should be doing one thing at a time and fully focusing on it. So let's not
Yes.
pretend that that's actually a good thing. I appreciate that you guys are significantly saying, I'm not going to multitask. I'm going to be present today. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Okay. There's part of it that has the link for our next rural and Indigenous committee meeting. They are meeting on the first Wednesday of every month at 1 o'clock Arizona time. I have updated the rural work groups. So all of our work groups have a dedicated page on our website that if there is any updates or recordings of the meetings, those kinds of pieces, they are all there. So you can go to that work group page and see the recordings of the last two of them. So they do have a special speaker for their February one if you are interested. And it is, let me look, because that part did not make it onto the thing, is Randy from the San Carlos Apache tribe. And he is going to share on their trauma-informed care approach that they've honestly been working on for years and years and years in San Carlos. So just letting you all know that update. And then Sang-Hoon, are you ready to give your updates?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you
Good
hear me?
morning. Yes, I can. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. I apologize as usual. I'm not trying to multitask, but I have 3 jobs to run. So I'm running one place, the other place. So I'm still driving. So I apologize. And regarding the interface committee, as you all know, that our meeting has been more observed to the movement of Vivian Cleve of our Facebook City and with Regional Trauma Informed Faith Coalition, which is supposed to be a partner with ACES Consortium. So it's kind of a complicated kind of dynamics there, but we need to clean that up. That's my goal is kind of for next year. However, as you know also that if you contact me that the facebookcity@gmail.com, that's the best way to start the dialogue. Well, with the ACES Consortium, we've been partnering together for the February breakfast and also April Weaving Creative Conference. So there has been some delay in postponement about all the work with the funding situation, but I think for this year it's gonna be okay. So now we are starting to planning on the February breakfast and also April Weaving Creative Conference. February we used to have it in the weekday, but it's gonna be on Saturday, February 21st. And no details yet. I'm working with one filmmaker for the screening, but that's one possibility. Because we used to have a panel discussions, but maybe we may change a little bit. Weaving Creative Conference gonna be April 22nd. But date is just a setup. However, the details not gonna be yeah, it's not, there's no details, just save the date type of the status right now. And as you know, it has been national level, although it's not that big, but the multi sectors coming together and national speakers coming. So we will inform you more on that later. And besides that, our training used to be that 6-hour basic training of a community belonging. It's collaborating with the county public health. It continues. And then now, for that side of the movement, we have organizations going further with the deeper journey of a community belonging. I'm doing that more 12 weeks of deeper journey training for certain churches. And also out of that, the next step is that actually we are having our leaders retreat. So there's a basic training and deeper journey collaboration, but also more collaboration and training. And then there's a retreat gonna happen. It already happened with a couple of organizations, but it's gonna happen. So that's the kind of a progress is getting made up. Yeah, faith community is kind of embedded to every sector. So it's not like a separately, you cannot easily separate, you know, from sectors. So when we have a faith community working together, we have everybody from every sector, but also it's very trust-based, more personal relationship-based. So it's hard to have a more clear cut with a certain data. So I'm always kind of have a struggle on that, but hopefully next year gonna be have a better way to present. But as you know that we are continually advancing each day, and actually every year. Another thing is that I find that our training and our movement is well received by more of the minority non-English speaking group. So I use a lot of interpreter and also second generation of immigrants or second generation of refuge, which have a very hard time nowadays to survive actually, as you know well. So I think it's important that we stay on the course, although there are a lot of difficulties because of certain context we are having politically, culturally, but we cannot just give in or give up the cost of what we are looking for, because actually people are vulnerable and more suffering. So hopefully we can continue to work together and collaborate. And if you go to any minority group, refuge, or culturally different ethnic group, you can see faith community is very important, playing a very important role to collaborate. So if we are more interested in working with those population as a mental health professionals or trauma-informed care professionals, just to let me know. That's about it, Angie, and I'm sorry, just kind of not organized well, but hopefully that the message is delivered. Thank you.
No, thank you, Sang-hoon. And I put all of the dates in the chat for you, as well as your email, for them to save the date. And we'll make sure to get that out to save those dates. So thank you, Sang-hoon. All right, Alice, can you do a satin update?
Good morning, everyone. We are currently planning our training calendar for 2026. We are still looking for a few speakers, so I don't have a cool survey to pop in the chat, but if you have recently been engaged in a training that might fit trauma-informed practices or resilience or just general training about trauma or addressing trauma, if you could put that in the chat, I will take that info down and look into it. We do have still one free training per month virtual, and we've still been getting pretty decent turnouts in the hundreds, and we'd like to try to bring in a few new trainers this upcoming year. And we are always looking for additional folks that might be in Southern Arizona, especially, who would want to collaborate and help support our efforts to continue to provide those trainings. And I think that's all I have for this rainy November.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you. I know it's so rare that we have rain that actually formulates, right? Like we'll have the just have the weather. Hello, forecast. Good morning. So I threw out my back yesterday, so my brain is already full of like, okay, we're not in pain. Alice, they have asked for your email. She's putting it in the chat right now. Okay, so that was our committee and partner updates. Thank you, all of you. Honestly, I love having this time to be able to connect with each of our committees and our partners, because it can, as Sang-hoon was talking about, in the climate that we're currently in, it can feel very heavy. And it is just a reminder that there are good people doing this work all over, all the time. It has not stopped. It will not stop. It's not the first time that we have been here. And what I have learned over the last 15 years with all of you is that this work continues no matter what. And we may not hear about it as much. And so I love having this space so we can come together and really kind of share that, that this work is here and there's others that are doing it. And this is how you can stay connected to that. So thank you very much for sharing those updates and for being chairs for us and doing this work really with no compensation, just keeping the work going. And we really appreciate that. All right, so I don't think we actually have any board updates. Besides that, we have our corporate annual sponsorship packages, because we do have the fiscal year of July 1st to June 30th. We're still in our fiscal year of our annual sponsorship. So when it comes to being able to support the work that we do at the consortium, there is that opportunity in multiple different ways to be able to sponsor things. So if you have an organization that would like to work together and be a part of that, please let us know. We also have the sponsorship form, the whole entire package on our website that can be downloaded. All right. So the summit, which I am excited to get to, we our first quarterly meeting this year, we discussed what does this normally look like. So normally we do 4 days in a row, and people were like, that is a lot for 1 week. And so what we did was we split it up into 2 separate weeks. We have our ACEs and Resilience Summit, the second and third, and then the medical conference on the 9th, so the following week on Tuesday, and then from surviving to thriving, healing as our connection as healing is focused on lived experience and healing modalities. And that is happening Wednesday, December 10th. So I wanted to kind of give you all an update of what it looks like. We still have early bird pricing. We still have scholarships available if you need for a full entire ticket, and just kind of show you what it looks like. So our opening keynote is Dr. Ariel Schwartz. She is going to open on post-traumatic growth and resilience. So we have focused a lot on, obviously, because that has been our mission, on ACEs and adversity. And one thing that we hear quite frequently is, I get how all of that impacts us. So how do we implement that into the daily things that we do? And what does that look like? You all know that the consortium focuses heavily on adults and building adult capacity, because we know that, a safe, supportive, caring adult can help mitigate the impacts of adversity and trauma. We don't talk a lot about what a safe, supportive, caring adult looks like, right? And so that's where our focus has been over the years. And so our summit really is looking at those pieces, right? How I got connected with Dr. Schwartz is we were doing a pilot in Red Rock Correctional Facility with the men, doing a pilot on training them to be peer facilitators on a stress and resilience curriculum. And one feedback that I got from one of the guys was, why aren't the 6 pillars of resilience in there? And I was like, what's the 6 pillars of resilience? And so I looked it up and realized it was the work of Dr. Schwartz. And so I'm super excited that she is going to come and kick off our keynote on our first day. And then it will close on Wednesday, the 3rd, for just the ACEs and Resilience Summit with John Richardson Love, who he was here last year. This year, he is going to focus his presentation on positive childhood experiences, right? And what the data shows us there. And we know that we have learned over the years that positive childhood experiences, the amount of them, actually has a greater impact on identifying what adult health is going to be than the adversity that was experienced, right? And so really kind of having that focus. We do have, 3 blocks of breakouts. So day 1 on the 2nd, we have our opening keynote. We have our first workshop breakouts. We have 4 different tracks. So we have a criminal justice track, a school track, a youth track, and then a child welfare track. In those, everything is recorded. All of the recordings will be available for 6 weeks post summit. So until the end of January of 2026. For you to be able to go back and watch them. And then we have a film screening that afternoon on the 2nd, The Wisdom of Trauma, with Dr. Gabor Mate. It's really good, and closing reflection session. On Wednesday, when we reconvene, we'll have our B workshops. We will have our C workshops. And then we will have our closing keynote by John. And that will wrap up our first week, right, for the summit. The next week, on Tuesday, December 9th, we will reconvene for From Surviving to Thriving, Connection as Medicine conference. So if you have attended our summit in the last couple of years and have been to the Center for Resiliency and Wellbeing's portion of our conference, it has been amazing. It is a lot because they're all doctors. And so they cram a lot of information into 1 hour. There's not as many breaks as we give our participants. They just dump a whole bunch of information, but we have gotten the best responses from people who have attended their presentations on really application and implementation of trauma-informed practices, especially in times where you don't have a lot of time with a person, right? And we've in pediatric offices, which is where this really focuses on, there's not a lot, you all know, there's not a lot of time of doctor, doctor patient, doctor family time for that connection. And so they really give those kind of layperson, like, what touch points do we have and what does this look like, and biologically and neurobiologically what is happening in our body. So it is great. It is absolutely great. The the last day, excuse me, is our From Surviving to Thriving Connection is Healing Summit. So if anybody has heard, me before, you know the importance that I feel for lived experience. And I think that we give lived experience a lot of lip service and like, oh yeah, programming really needs to have lived experience, but we don't really engage with those to help create the programming, or to see what that actually looks like. And a lot of times, even if we do, they're a separate kind of work group, to say like an advisory committee, and we're not hearing about experiences and what that actually means, what their experiences have been with our programs, or just even with in general. And I wanted to be able to give them a space, right, to really look at what this looks like to incorporating lived experience. If anyone is familiar with my kid, they have really done a great job of this, right, and of understanding. And so they are going to kick off that day with a keynote on incorporating lived experience in programming, how that works, what the benefits of it are, right, what the stats are showing them. And then we will close the day out with a reflection session of implementation and integration. Like, what does all of this look like? And then we also have 2 different breakout sessions that day as well. And so we close that day at, I think this thing is wrong because we do not close at 4 o'clock. I believe we close at 3 o'clock that day, obviously, because we can't have a closing keynote during our breakout session B. But I think I added that in the actual programming. You can see all of that kind of information and go into each one of those breakout sessions. Where's my chat? Here we are. On our website, if you click on the actual days, that takes you to the agenda for each one of those sections, so that way you can see that. We do have the registration, which is $99 for the full entire summit until Friday, and then you can register separately for the summit if you just want to attend the first 2 days, which is $79. And then each of the individual days on the following night, the medical professional one and the lived experience and healing one, you can do those individually as well for $29. And I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors this year, especially with the funding that we all know, right, has been cut across the sectors. It's still very humbling and super blessed that they see so much value in the work that we do, that they were willing to sponsor our summit. So we have Southwest Human Development, First Things First, Blue Cross Blue Shield's Foundation for Community Health and Advancement, My Kid, Arizona Governor's Office of Youth, Faith and Family, Humana, and Helios Education Foundation. And so we really thank them for that. Are there any questions on the summit or what that is going to kind of look like in action? Okay. I want to make sure that you also have the sponsorship. Yes, early bird pricing is still available. And we do have our scholarship application. So um, we have scholarships that are still available. And I put that link in the chat for you to apply for that.
Hi, Angie.
Hi, Brenda.
How are you? Good. Um, I registered for, I guess I got totally confused as to what I was registering for. I only registered for the ninth. Um,
Okay.
so I need to figure out, I need to help to register for the whole thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you, I will put my email in the chat. And email me and you and I can figure that off. I'll figure
Oh,
that out offline.
okay, thank you so much.
Yes, you are welcome. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I did put the workshops that we have on here. And okay, so we have also a new thing. So this is a grant from First Things First that we are asked to put together specifically for early childhood directors and family resource centers, faith and community leaders, for the East Maricopa Regional Council of First Things First. We were given the green light to open it up to those all within Maricopa County. And if you are able to make the in-person days outside of Maricopa County as well. This training of the trainer was created specifically for early childhood care directors, the leaders, the ones who are able to support the staff. So this training develops facilitators to be able to develop the adults within their organizations, right? Within their centers, within their family resource centers, in those pieces. So the training is we have an in-person January 10th from 9 to 12. You have to attend all days. January 13th and 20th are virtually. It's 4:30 to 6:30 over Zoom. And then we will reconvene in person on January 31st from 9 to 12. Um, the curriculum for this is specifically our 6-part series on stress and resilience. So we have a lesson on the neurobiology of trauma, self-regulation strategies, uh, relationship building and attachment. I'm trying to go by memory. Basics of trauma, trauma-informed support, and then post-traumatic growth and resilience. And what is provided to you all is a little extra information on early childhood brain development and what that looks like. I believe that Jill is here. Jill, if you all not familiar with Dr. Jill Stam, our resident neuroscience expert, but also early childhood expert. She has a couple books on boosting brain power and on early childhood brain development. And so we have integrated that information into this training so that early childhood care directors and family resource center directors and those faith and community leaders have that additional learning and understanding of the importance of early childhood brain development, not only the importance of it, but what it actually looks like. And then that additional information of how do we support our staff? How do we develop the staff that are working with our kiddos? And how do we get this information to our families, right? And what does that look like in giving them that information? For additional information on this, you can go to the website. It also, let me put it in the chat right now. It also has the link to the registration form on there. There is no cost for this training. It is fully covered by the grant from the First Things First East Maricopa Regional Council. We just ask that, and you'll see that in the registration form as well, that you are in the position where you are able and have the permission and the ability to train other staff within your child care center. So it is designed specifically for those more at that kind of director or supervisor level, whether it's in early childhood care, whether it's in family resource centers, those kinds of pieces. But really excited that we can let you all know about this opportunity. We will also be doing another one in June. Are there any questions on this specific program?
Angie, can we share this widely? Like, can I put this in an organizational newsletter for folks that fall into that specific demographic that you described?
Yes. Yes. And in the follow-up email that I do, I'll make sure that I have the flyer in there. Thank you, Jess.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
I think you might actually be able to download the flyer off of the website too, but let me check.
Okay.
Yeah. Denise asked if they're looking at opening it up to other regions. They did give me the permission to share it with all of you, which I know that we have people across the state. So the only caveat is that that you are in that kind of director position. Yeah, and that you're able to attend all four dates.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, Angie. Did I miss the cutoff date to sign up? Is there a last date to sign up for this?
You know, Sabrina, that's a good question. I don't think we actually have a cutoff date for this, but
Okay.
Yeah, this is Jill. No, we don't. We don't have a cutoff date. Now that we just thought about that. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because it's in the first is January 10th. So I guess Angie and I were sort of saying, okay, well, that's a long way off. Well, it isn't such a long way off anymore. So I guess we ought to start thinking about that. But it's going to be so helpful, I think. I worked for many years in the early childhood sector, and this group, the staff members love children. They want to help. And so often now they're saying, I just don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing with this child. And so they know that there's something going on with the child, but they don't know. And this is going to be very helpful for them to be able to strategize how they might help. And if they believe that the child really needs additional help, that's another thing that we'll be working on with them.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Jill. I did have the question in the chat, but some are in person and some are virtual. So we have both of those in-person dates at the Tempe Family YMCA from 9 to 12 are Saturdays. So, excuse me, Saturday, January 10th. And then the virtual format the following week, January 13th, January 20th, and then we reconvene in person on January 31st at the same location, Tempe Family YMCA, from 9 to 12. From 9 to 12. And of course, if you have any questions on the program, please just reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any of that. So thank you. We're excited. We're excited. All right, so what does 2026 look like for us so far? We do have that early childhood training of the trainers. We have our mental health and well-being community of practice, which is January 28th from 10 to 12, and then our educator community of practice, January 20th from 5:30 to 6:30. I am putting the registration links in the chat for you all. We have two ACEs training of the trainers that are scheduled for 2026. Our first one is at the end of March and April. Our second one for the year is going to be in September. And so we do have registration open for that first ACEs training of the trainer. And then our quarterly meetings already for 2026. We have that new registration link for our quarterly meetings. And I just put that in the chat. So February 19th, it's always the third Thursday at 9 a.m. So February 19th, May 21st, August 20th, and November 19th for 2026. So that quarterly meeting registration link that is in the chat that will register you for all four of them. So you don't have to worry about it. You should get a calendar invite or a confirmation from Zoom where you can then add it to your calendar. So that way it is always in there. And that is kind of our updates for, well, finishing out 2025 and getting ready for the beginning of 2026 at least. Now I want to hear from you all. What do you all have going on? What kind of share outs do you have? Trainings that you want to share, events that you want to share with the group. This is your space. You can come off mute and share it. You can share it in the chat, whatever works best for you.
You know, Angie, I wanted to point out, I don't know whether this was mentioned earlier or not, but April 23rd, the neurosequential model is going to have a full day where we're going to be sharing the brand new offering that Dr. Perry has nationally now on the neurosequential model and caregiving. Prior to this time, Arizona was the only state in the United States that had this Arizona's opportunity to share the caregiving portion. We've always had nationally, we've always had the neurosequential model of therapeutics and the neurosequential model in education. But now this new one is going to be launched nationally. And so we are happy to share that with everybody. And so anyone from the education community, anyone from the psychology, from counseling, I think that and definitely education, and now working with parents to share Dr. Perry's work. And I've been doing this now for a couple of years, and I have to say, of all of the things that I have learned, this model goes directly to healing. And I highly recommend, if you don't know anything about it, this would be a great day. Again, there are scholarships. I can't at this moment remember how much the fees are, but we will be sending out that information very shortly. And anyway, I wanted people to put that on their calendar, April 23rd. Dr. Perry may be here personally, if not, and many of his direct staff who've been building all of these programs nationally and internationally will be here, in person. So we're pretty excited about that. It's going to be in Tempe at the Desert Willow Conference Center.
Thank you, Jill. That's awesome. And then as soon as you have that flyer or whatever that we send it to me and we can
I
get it
will.
out to get it out to the members. So April 23rd, save the
Yeah.
date for you all. Thanks,
Okay,
Jill.
thanks.
I'd like to share a couple things.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi,
Um,
Trina.
I'm representing a couple of spaces when I share. So I'm with Ombudsman High School, and there we have a lot of stuff going on that we do accredited high school diplomas. But I wanted to share that we now have at least one campus, well, currently one campus that's doing a night campus. So if you have young people that kind of need that space, it's a 4 to 8 campus. So we have that opportunity. We also have expanded our medical program. So our students have access for free to get some medical certifications. And that's helpful medical assisting, medical billing and coding, that kind of thing. Um, but also we have expanded our social work program. So we have trauma-informed social workers within all of our campuses now, which is super helpful for all the chaos that's happening in our world. The second thing I wanted to share with you, I'm on School Social Work Association of Arizona's board, and they have their annual conference coming up February 19th, same day as our February meeting. Sorry, guys. Um, but letting you know that that's there. They do have their call for presenters out, as well as sponsorship opportunities. So feel free to check that out or attend if you are interested. I'll throw those in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Terinda. I think the presentation call though is done because I had it on my calendar. I think it
It
ended
might
last week,
be, that might be, but I know sponsorships
but
are
the
still open.
registration.
So
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah, we will, I know that that's our quarterly meeting. We are doing double duty that day. The consortium will be there
Well,
with a
when you
table.
see me in person on that day, say happy birthday. It's my birthday.
I will. That's awesome. Leslie?
Good morning, Angie, and good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to be here on this rainy morning. Um, I wanted to share, I've got a couple things to share. One is just a huge shout out of gratitude for those who were involved in the Celebrating Resilience Summit 2025. It was absolutely beautiful space. Thanks you to ACES Consortium for being there and being a part of it. It was just an amazing place of really presence and humanity and love together. And this year we did include 50 students. And so we incorporated the student voice, brought some students up on stage, which was really amazing just to hear directly from them, to get the feedback from the people that who were attending. Because sometimes you think you know what youth want, and you really don't. And so they were really interwoven. We had a panel, but throughout the entire thing. So just want to give some gratitude for that. And then the other thing is I do have the Arizona Resilience and the National Resilience Spotlights that I do once a month that are free. So those are entirely free professional development. Our next ones coming up are December 8th. That is Dr. Doug Bolton out of Chicago, Illinois. He's going to be presenting on harnessing the power of belonging in the schools. And then on the 10th, our national spotlight, so that was the national spotlight. On the 10th, our Arizona spotlight is Alexis Santa Cruz from Grit and Grace Educational Consulting. She's going to be presenting on building emotionally strong schools. So I will put links to those in the chat, but those are free, open to anybody who's interested in building resilience in various settings and in various ways. Just really an innovative work that's happening around the country and around the state that we don't always get to hear or get access to. So I'll put those in. And the very last thing is that my book on, I present frequently on creating intentionally safe spaces. So my book, which is called Transform the Felt Safety Toolkit, which is for individuals, it's for organizations, it's for educators. It is held up because the Library of Congress is closed. So I can't get that last little piece. So I've got the ISBN, I've got all the pieces, but as soon as that Library of Congress opens back up, I will be able to share that. But I put it in I'll put it in the chat so that you're able to see. That's the cover of it. So if you're interested, you can contact me, and I'll also then put the links in for the upcoming spotlights, the December spotlights. So share them, attend if you're interested, and that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. And you'll put all that right in there so I can just copy and paste it.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Luana. You're muted still. The computer doesn't want to work for you. While you're figuring out the unmuting, because I know you will, in the chat, I am putting the AZCEC and AZ Case Annual Conference, their 2026 annual conference, Reaching New Heights Together, is March 26th at Glendale Community College. And so let me get that link. And they also have award nominations that are open up. So if you know anyone in special education and you want to nominate them, they do have those nominations open on their website, so you can add that. Luana, while you're still figuring that out, I will go to Jessica. Hi, Jess.
Hi, guys. Just a quick announcement for folks that are located in northern Arizona. The Arizona Center for After School Excellence, which is an organization that supports all out of school time programs and providers. We are embarking on a 5-county sort of connection and listening tour. And we were down in Pima County over the summer. Now we're doing a virtual summit in northern Arizona to talk about how to support out of school time program staff members. So even if you're not working for an out of school time program, if you are tangential to out of school time, if you love out of school time, and you'd like to participate in our virtual summit for a couple of hours so that we can discuss opportunities for further supporting hiring, training, and keeping quality staff members in out of school time programs. You can click on the link that I'm going to put in the chat and join us for this short gathering. We're also giving a DoorDash gift card to those that attend so that they can order their lunch and eat it while we have our virtual meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess.
Okay, I got it figured out.
Awesome. I knew you would.
I don't know, I got stuck for some reason. So I just wanted to share that things that I'm doing here in my area, here up in Winslow. I work with 11 different communities. I work with 24 different schools. I just recently got my title changed. I was the school health coordinator now, and where I just focus working with the schools. Now I'm the youth wellness specialist, where I'm like, of all the 11 communities, it just opens up broadly to work with all students, not specifically with the schools, which is good. Still doing basically the same thing, but just broaden out the my audience. So one of the things that we've had in our area and that was of concern is mental health. So these are reasons why I got trained, and I wanted to get trained in ACEs because I feel like ACEs is a really big uh, learning tool for our community members. And then also resiliency, having them understand about their bodies, how it affects them, and the future benefits of taking care of yourself. So all of that, I'm like, oh man, this is information that I want to learn, that I've learned, and I want to share that out. So I started having different trainings. So I'm also a QPR trainer, and then also resiliency trainer. So what I did was I had throughout the whole school year have different trainings going on about every month. So far I've done three QPR trainings because I did one yesterday, and then I did an ACEs training back in October. And so I have two more QPR trainings that I have on my schedule, and then two more ACEs training coming up, and then two resiliency trainings coming up. So just wanted to share that. And they're all in person. These trainings are in person, like to have individuals there. It's a little difficult. I do a monthly webinar as well, addressing different topics every month. So it's hard to get the interaction. So that's the reason why I thought that having these trainings would be beneficial as far as in person. And I think slowly people are slowly coming out, of out of their virtual places and coming to the in person. But there's still more people that just want to attend. They do want to go virtual to be a part of it. So one of the webinars that I'm going to have, and they're not that long, so it's really quick information. They're about an hour. So just sharing some brief information about ACEs during one of the webinars as well. Just thought I'd share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Luana. I love it. I love all the work that you're doing up there. And highly impacted. It is, it's hard doing programming directly around adversity and resilience and things when you're working in such a highly impacted area. And it's hard on us, right? Of holding that space. And you've been holding space for a while now and continuing to bring new things. It's thank you. Thank you. Anyone else have anything to share that they're doing?
Hi,
Mike.
Angie. This is Mike Gaffney with Arizona PBS. Spring scholarship for First Things First College Scholarship is now open. I put some information in the chat. I attended the Danae Early Childhood Summit up in Moenkopi last week, the 2-day summit. It was awesome. I think some of you were there. But that's just my report. Thanks for all the great information. It's always exciting to tune in and hear what folks are doing.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks.
And also Tarinda put in the chat that if you work with justice involved youth, that the Arizona Correctional Educators, their 2026 symposium is open for submissions. Luana put the flyer in the chat. We will download that as well. So that way we can put that with our follow-up email. Hope I lost you all. There you are. One thing I forgot to add, I put an ask out for is if you are available, open to be a room kind of host for our breakouts for our summit. We still have some open spaces that we're trying to fill for that. Our summit is all virtual. It's all over Zoom. So if you know how to kind of do the ins and outs of Zoom, letting people in on the waiting room, monitoring the chat, those kinds of pieces. And would I give you a script so you know how to open the thing, you know how to close it, where to send everyone after the breakout, all of those kinds of pieces. But if you are available to volunteer to be a room host, or monitor for our summit, please email me. I will put my email in the chat again for you all. Any last things? Y'all are like a ray of hope. And thank you. Thank you for all the work. I know that it is increasingly harder sometimes to do this work. I know that we all know that the world is increasingly dysregulated. And since we do know so much about it, I think it becomes, it sometimes feels like an extra added responsibility on our own plates to honor the knowledge that we already have around this. And so that can feel real heavy, especially when we're working with affected populations. And I just want to thank all of you for all you do and just being you in this space. It is always so nice to come together, especially just to hear what's going on across the state. We can be in such a connected, digitally connected world. We're very disconnected. And I like the ability to see you all and hear what's going on across the state. And we're always here if you have anything to share. So please email me and I can get that information out in between the quarterly meetings. I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving week. One of my favorite times because it's all centered around gratitude and connection and family, which is kind of fun. This year, I'm going to have all of my kids plus our new little grandbaby at our Thanksgiving Day, and just a kind of reminder that we all are doing the best we can with the knowledge we have at the time, and you all have a lot of knowledge, and so I know it feels extra heavy for us, and so sending you love and and thankfulness for you all. I hope you have a great rest of 2025. We will connect back in this space in February. And in the meantime, I'm not going anywhere. So reach out if you need anything. So thank you all. Have a good day.